The compass needle spun wildly in Nancy's palm, its golden surface catching the afternoon sun as she crouched behind a tangle of ivy. Jory leaned over her shoulder, his breath sharp with excitement. "Looks like it's finally found something," he whispered, reaching for the compass. She snapped it shut. "Not your style," his grin flashed, but she didn't miss the flicker of hurt. Trust didn't come easy to either of them. The garden sprawled ahead, a riot of colors too vivid for Earth, flowers with metallic petals, vines that pulsed like veins, and trees bent into spirals defying gravity. But it was the mirror that stopped her cold. Propped against a mossy boulder, its frame twisted like gnarled bones, the glass reflecting not the garden, but a cavernous void where a shadow shifted, hunched, and weeping. "Your dad's cloak's acting up," Jory muttered. Nancy glanced down. The black fabric her father had left her was shimmering faintly, threads of silver rippling like liquid starlight. She'd never seen it do that before. A roar split the air. Fire erupted above them, searing through leaves as Arendor Flameclaw descended, scaled hide glinting, red eyes locking onto Nancy. "Thief," he snarled. "The Nexus power is mine." Jory yanked her behind a stone pillar as flame engulfed the spot where she'd stood. "Plan," he hissed. Nancy's mind raced. The compass burned in her grip, its energy fading. They had minutes, maybe. But the shadow in the mirror, it felt important. Father's voice echoed in her memory. "The fragments aren't always objects, Nancy. Sometimes they're people, stories." A scream tore through the garden. Across the clearing, the botanist, Dr. Vera, stumbled back from a flower whose bloom split into 100 serrated teeth. Nancy bolted. "Distract him!" she shouted to Jory, tossing him the compass. He cursed, but leaped onto a trellis, clanging the artifact like a cymbal. "Hey, lizard breath, bet you can't torch this." Arendor wheeled toward him, fire gathering in his throat. Nancy sprinted to the mirror. Her reflection wavered, then dissolved into the silhouette of a man, shoulders bowed under invisible chains. Father, not missing, trapped. The wither's tendrils coiled around him, leeching the life from his frame. "You see it too." Dr. Vera's voice trembled beside her. "I planted the seeds he gave me, said they'd test the soil. But they're not of this world. They're changing things." Her hands were blackened, fingers sprouting tiny leaves. The cloak's shimmer blazed. Nancy tore it off, throwing it over the mirror. The glass screamed, cracked spiderwebbing as the shadow inside thrashed. It's a prison, she realized. The wither's using the mirror to drain him. To drain all of them. Guardians. People like her father. Jory's yelp pulled her around. The compass glowed red hot in his hands. Arendor closing in. Nancy lunged, cloak flaring like wings. The fire hit the fabric and snuffed out. "Run!" she barked, grabbing Jory. They dove through the disintegrating portal as the mirror exploded behind them, shards slicing the air. Home. Grass under her knees, the tree's roots hummed beneath the soil, steadying her. The compass cooled, its power replenishing. But the image in the mirror haunted her, her father's face, half consumed by shadows. Jory held up a shard of glass, its edge smeared with silver. "Souvenir!" He winced, thumb bleeding. Nancy wrapped it in the cloak. "Not a souvenir," she said quietly. "A map." Somewhere her father was waiting. And the wither, it had just shown her where to strike next.